The French are incredibly snooty and haughty.
Yeah.
Even my really, really anti-racist friends, they get a little bit of their hit of racism, because we all need it. When they start talking about the French, because like so many people, they're like, oh, well, I'm sure the stereotypes aren't accurate. They're very much like, oh, I need to be anti-racist about everything and everyone. And then they actually go to France and interact with French people. And he comes back, he's like, they are a bunch of haughty bastards, aren't they? Where he was at a restaurant, and he tried his best, bless him, to order in French to be polite, because he thought it would be polite, because you're an Englishman, you go to a country on the continent.
And the French particularly don't like it, do they?
Everybody knows that the Englishman just goes, uno biro, por favor.
What, in France?
Yes, especially in France, because we're such loutish twats, yes. He tried to order in French, and the French waiter stopped him and goes, no, you speak English.
Yeah,
He's like,
language.
Please don't do that.
Don't
To be
destroy my
fair,
language.
to defend the French here, they're very, very defensive over their language being spoken correctly. And, you know, it's to the point where the dictionary is run by the government, and the government has to approve words becoming new words.
Of course, that's the most French thing
I know.
I've ever learned.
Yeah.
We nationalised the dictionary. We weren't socialist enough. But yeah, I sort of respect that. They're sort of gatekeeping it and trying to keep a high standard, which I think is good, and we should do in English. Because,
Well, the French actually about 10 years, 15 years ago, perhaps, I think, they made it that you couldn't speak English in schools, more or less, and also in pop music. It had to be French.
But that's, I don't really have a problem with that. I think in France, that's what they should be doing.
Yep,
the
absolutely.
funny thing
Why
is,
not?
the French-speaking Belgians lose out on that because they speak the same language, but they're from Belgium, so they don't get the same quota of radio play, which is kind of funny.
Well,
The
one
Walloons. Is it the Walloons, or am I getting that wrong?
It might from Wallonia, yeah.
music, I didn't know about that, because the biggest French band in the world right now is a metal band called Gojira, and they sing in English.
Yep.
They were the ones that played at the Olympics for the opening ceremony.
Oh, never.
Yeah, they were that metal band that had the Marie Antoinette beheading thing.
Right.
I actually really like Gojira, but that was cringe. But they are like vegan, environmentalist, leftists. They just write decent music.
Yeah, that's the music industry. Is that a stereotype? The music industry is traditionally or stereotypically left wing.
That's definitely true.
Yeah,
Both
that's
Harry and I
true.
can attest to that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got kicked out of my band because of how left-wing not even the recording industry, because we weren't recording artists yet with a record label or anything, just the management saw what I was doing on the podcast and were like, no, we can't have any of that, you're going to have to kick him out.
And actually, that goes back to
And
the
you go by YouTube guidelines, like, so you quite
No,
so you don't really, you're not any form of.
I'm shocked
crazy.
we
It's a zero
comply with
tolerance.
YouTube guidelines sometimes. Some of the stuff that I've said, to be perfectly honest.
You're trying to get us removed. You're a third. What? I'm joking.
But that's it. Back to the earlier conversation about how left wing the music industry is, and how the secrets, the dirty secrets that they've got in there, stereotypical.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very true as well.
That stereotype, I think, doesn't... Some people, it always annoys me. Josh and I have discussed this on one of his contemplations before. People kind of say that, creativity, openness to experience, heights, hierarchical values, whatever you want to call them. Those typically come with more left-wing traits anyway, so it's natural that the music industry and the entertainment industries are going to be more left-wing. That's bollocks.
Well, look at classical composers as a great example.
Look at all creative people prior to about 1960. Most of them would be right-wing extreme radicals by today's standards. So it's not just a given that they're going to have to be left-wing shit libs. What it is the industry just gatekeeps. I don't want to blow my own horn, but I think I'm a pretty creative person. I've written some songs and riffs and solos that I think are fucking awesome and could stand up to quite a lot of music that gets put out these days. But I was gate-kept out of the industry because of my own beliefs. That happens with everybody. Just look at Hollywood. There are right-wing people in Hollywood, and they don't, like Gina Carano. She just gets kicked out.
Yeah.
I hate that people try and almost do this weird deterministic argument.
But I found
creative, of course you're going to be left wing. No, also left wings can be shit creatives. Look at Hollywood. It's shit.
And like in Swansea, you've got the Glenvivian Art Gallery and things like that. It's all left wing, heavily left wing. Everything that goes in there is left wing, and so you get that sort of different. But that's the crap art, where you get a pile of what they've got. They've got a load of bottles at the moment made into a wave, plastic bottles, plastic environment, and all that. And that's very left wing. That's the type of creativity that I would say, that's the left wing creativity.
Oh yeah,
it's shit, right? But then when it comes to music and things like that, where's actual creativity, I don't think that has a thing. But even if you go into a venue, the people seem to be quite left wing as well. So I don't know whether it's because they've gone through the university. A lot of them would have gone through.
I think with rock and metal and punk, I would disagree somewhat, because when I was still in my band, there were a lot of people who would recognise me at these gigs more than you would expect.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was always really positive. They were always really big fans of the shows. Again, I think it's because of the gatekeeping that happens within the industry. They're also trying to attract a particular audience, and also the aesthetics and image that come with punk rock especially, and alternative, is marketed as a kind of anti-traditional rebellion.
Yeah.
And so, of course, that is always going to attract people who are slightly more left-wing.
But that's mad, because the left-wing, look at the Sex Pistols back in the day, they were anti-establishment, anti-government, and now the left-wing are so pro-government, they may as well be wearing brown shirts.
Oh, yeah, to the point where Johnny...
It's a complete flip, Johnny Rotten
is basically right-wing by comparison.
Yeah, he's MAGA.
Oh, yeah. And the Ramones as well. The Ramones, 2 of them were Republicans.
Yeah.
2 of them were Republicans, 2 of them were Democrats. So they're actually quite nicely split down the middle.
Yeah.
Members of the band Rush dropped loads of references to Ayn Rand, of all people.
Their drummer Neil Peart, he was a Randian.
Exactly.
And he wrote all of their lyrics.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.